That is 1 minute. Our next speaker is yours truly, and I will be having a time frame of 8 to 10 minutes. I do have my phone set up. I'll be propping it up so I'll be able to see the timing cards change at the appropriate moments. Jennifer is my coach. So, Jennifer, if you can, please give my information and introduction while I bring up my background screen share. I would appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Today, it is my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, our very own Kris. Kris's Papa, Rich Raschke, his birthday is on April 17th. He was born 88 years ago and has been gone from this world for 8 years now, but the memories of him have not gone on hiatus. They continue to bring a smile to her face frequently. Today, we get to learn a little bit about the fun and games that Kris and her papa shared through the years. I can't wait. Kris is a great storyteller. Let's welcome Kris. And do you smell like that? Do you smell like that, Kris Poole?
Thank you so much, Jennifer. You smell that? Do you smell that? Ah, I know the smell of that. That is the smell of a skunk. I got you again, girl. That was my father. He and I love to play cribbage. And if you've never played cribbage before, you basically are laying down your cards and you count the pegs and you go around the cribbage board 4 times. But if somebody goes out before the other person gets the full past the third corner to the fourth, that's called a skunk. My dad would relish the times when he could skunk me, and he got so terribly upset if I was able to skunk him. But it was all in fun and games. It wasn't that he was upset, he would just pretend to be upset because that's part of our fun and games of what we did. My papa, he was one of my best friends. We had so much fun together. Our relationship really started to blend together in about, how old was I? I was junior year of high school. My mom had actually left for 6 months to go move in with my aunt to take care of her. Heifer had thrown her, she broke her back, she had to go and take care of her. And my dad got stuck with me at home. He had to go to parent teacher conferences. He had to pick me up from tennis. He had to go to the plays and take me home from drama practice. He got stuck with me. But that's what really started to solidify our relationship together. A few years later, and I don't even know how it started, but you can see on his picture there that he has that bald spot on his head. We started a practice that I had to kiss the bald spot, had to give the bald spot a kiss for good luck. And if I would ever visit him at the house and try to leave and I had not kissed him goodbye, he would yell at me, Christine Rose! Yeah, Papa? What did you forget to do? Oh, sorry, Papa. And I go back into the living room, bend down, kiss his head, and he would be happy. I love my Papa. We also like to play canasta. And this could get so wicked when we would play. And the last year or so of Dad's life, he pretty much just stayed in the living room listening to the sounds when my sister and I would actually play canasta. His energy level had been dropping, so he wasn't always in the mood to play canasta on his own or even cribbage. But my sister and I would sit at the kitchen table and we would lay our couch down and we would call each other some very naughty names that rhyme with itch and witch. Well, one day I was back at the house and I was doing some cleaning, picking up a little bit for my dad, and he decided he wanted to play some canasta that day. And we're putting the cards down, and all of a sudden he called me that witch word, but he changed that W to a B. And I said, Papa, what are you doing? You don't call me that. He said, I thought that's how we play these days. That's how you and Jean play. I thought that's what I'm supposed to do now. Anyway, I knew it was in a light-hearted fashion because it was Papa. I knew that he loved me and he wanted to have his fun. He loved to giggle. He would just laugh. He would just laugh so much. It was hilarious. And I would love to see him smile. And he would like to play games with me and tricks on me. One such trick was a plastic alligator. For those of you who don't know me, I am afraid of mice, spiders, snakes, dogs, cats, insects, birds, moths, anything basically. My dad thought it would be funny to put a plastic alligator in the shower because he knew my glasses were off. Everything's all blurry. And I got into the shower that morning, pulled the curtain back, and I saw this big green blop, and I screamed, "What that?" And he comes running over, just giggling and laughing, and he pulls it out. You're afraid of this little plastic thing? And I actually pushed him out of the bathroom, locked the door, and I never lock the door. You always keep the door cracked open to let the steam escape. Finished my shower, and when I opened the door, I did a little peek, make sure he wasn't standing out there. Went upstairs to finish getting ready now. And the way the upstairs was set up where I got ready, I actually sat down in front of a mirror. I had a baby blanket that I would put over my legs. I just had my pajama tops on. And I would put my makeup on, and then I would comb and brush and blow dry my hair. Well, when I went to sit down, I felt something hard underneath this blanket. What the heck is this? Pulled the blanket up. Here is this stupid alligator. And I flicked it because I'm right at the edge for where the steps go back down. And I flick it down the stairs. I said, here you go, Dad, have it back. A few minutes later, my head is down. I'm blow drying, so I can't hear any noise. All of a sudden, I look, here is Dad in the mirror with the alligator over my shoulder. And I screamed again. And he just laughed. He had his moments. He had his fun. Well, I got back at him quite a bit too. His favorite type of music was the oompa polka music. He loved the polka music. He loved it so much that he would put the polka station on the radio in the car and crank up the volume a little bit when he knew that I would be the next person going into that car to drive. Well, I decided to get my revenge, and I would turn the heavy metal station on the radio and crank up that volume a little bit more when I knew he'd be the one getting into the car. We played that game for a good year before I finally started to be nice. When I got done with the car, I put his polka music on at a normal level, and he started to leave the polka station on, but at least turn it down to a normal level for me. But he loved to dance. He loved his polka music. And he also enjoyed drinking. He loved his beer and he loved drinking beer. And if he could drink beer while he was dancing, all the better. He would dance and drink and have his beer when we were at parties, weddings, funerals, because this is up northern Wisconsin. That's what we did. In backyard parties, whatever it was, he had his fun. He also enjoyed drinking his beer, sitting in the backyard, watching the birds, and smelling the flowers that he would grow. In addition to the flowers, he would also grow tomatoes. He, I don't know how many total tomato plants that he had, but along the east side of our house, or actually in the backyard, we had a chain link fence. And he would plant all of these cherry tomato plants alongside that fence. The kids next door would always come over, climb a little bit up on that fence and say, "Hey, Mr. Tomato Man, can we have a tomato, please?" And he would say, "Help yourself." Those kids were why he planted all those cherry tomato plants along that fence. But they were very polite. "Hey, Mr. Tomato Man, can we have a tomato, please?" He was always very accommodating. In addition to those cherry tomato plants, though, he would plant regular tomatoes, of which I got the bounty, and I would make canned tomatoes because those went into homemade chili soup. Here in Wisconsin, home of the dairy farms, large families, lots of kids, you had to make a meal stretch to accommodate everyone. Chili soup for us here in Wisconsin, you put noodles in it. Dad loved my chili soup. I would come down every couple of weeks and make a pot of chili soup for him. "Kris, I love your chili soup. Tell Jean I don't like hers." Ugh. I don't know what she did differently, but he loved my chili soup. When Dad finally did pass away, we had to have a couple final laughs on him. So he was cremated. He was put into a niche with my mom, and he was always known for wearing hats. Excuse me. He would wear baseball hats in the summer, spring and fall, and in the winter time, maybe in the summer and the fall depending on how cool it was, he wore his little black knit hat. Well, we decided the black hat would cover him in that niche. He was also addicted to toothpicks. He had a toothpick in his mouth all the time. So we had to put that little jar of toothpicks, along with the menu from his Sunday morning restaurant, in with him to keep him and mom company. We had to have one last laugh with Dad. I can still smell my dad aftershave, fresh hair, head and shoulders, kissing that bald spot, and thinking about when he was going to skunk me. Smell that? One, yes. Back to you.